Welcome everybody to another episode of the Cody Miller Show here on my YouTube channel. This is the ultimate swimming related show on the internet. I'm your host, Cody Miller. Thank you guys for joining me again for another show. We've got a lot of awesome topics to talk about today, a lot of great swimming related topics, a lot of great questions have been asked, and some non-swimming related stuff as well. Before we get started, I have a few things to talk about. How do you get your question answered here on the Cody Miller Show? How do you submit a question or a topic to be discussed here on the Cody Miller Show? It's easy. Make sure you guys are following me on Instagram at Cody Miller. When I post something asking for questions or topics for the Cody Miller Show, send them on in there. That's your best chance to get a question answered. And before we get into the main topics, I've got a few things to discuss. I swam at the Iowa Pro Series. I don't know if you guys can hear, my dogs are scratching at the doors right now. I'm not about to let them in right now. I swam at the Iowa Pro Series last week, and we're gonna talk about that in a little bit, but I don't know if you can tell, I'm extremely exhausted right now. I got almost no sleep last night. Poor Allie, my sweet, sweet wife, is laying in bed. She's really, really sick, was thrashing up all night. Her throat's killing her, her body's aching, her head hurts. She's got like a fever of like a 101, and I've been feeding her chicken noodle soup and trying to get fluids in her system, trying to make her feel better. But she told me to go off and take 30 minutes to film my weekly show. So I might have to check up on her in a little bit. But yeah, last night was rough. I mean, yesterday I had essentially 4 workouts. I had a morning swim where I did a 100 pace set with Lily, which was pretty awesome. Then I had a full body lift, and then I had 2 photo shoots that day, segmented in the middle of the day and then at the end of the day. So I had several hours of photo shoot worth of things to do. Then I had dryland. We actually went almost a little over an hour of dryland, and then an afternoon swim workout, which was another pace, fast, lactate type of set. I actually vlogged some of it, so you guys will be able to see that. And then I had another few hours of photo shoot stuff. So it was like a really busy day. And then I come home and Allie's like exhausted and sick, and like we were basically up all night, and I'm doing everything I can to like make her feel better, give her that heating pad, tell her that everything's gonna be okay. You know, we've already talked to some doctors, like we know what it is. She has a bug, she just has a virus, she's gonna be okay. I'm definitely getting a little sick, I can kind of feel it in my throat, but I think I can fight it off. I've got a pretty strong immune system. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, I've been taking a lot of vitamin C, so hopefully I don't get sick. Yeah, so with that out of the way, I'm gonna try to power through this despite the fact that I'm tired. Let's get on to our main topics. And like I said, how do you get your main topic answered here on the Cody Miller Show? Just submit it when I ask for questions on Instagram. That's the best method right now. So our first topic of the day comes from SWM Lisa. I believe that's Swim Lisa, who asks, are you swimming in the ISL? The ISL, for those of you who don't know, is the New International Swimming League, which is something outside of FINA. It's this new swim league organization that is going to be global, and there has been scheduled events for swimmers to be drafted and basically signed, you know, contracts signed to swim for a team. And the way it works is there's going to be 4 teams here in the United States, and then 4 teams based in over in Europe, so basically like over in Great Britain, and it's a bracket style competition. You know, each team I believe has 3 essentially what they would be as dual meets in other teams' hometowns. 2 of them would be domestic and 1 would be international. And to answer your question, I am planning on competing in the ISL. I'm currently negotiating with 2 ISL teams. I'm not going to talk about that, but I mean, you guys can kind of go on SwimSwam and read about the different teams. But I'm talking with 2. I plan on swimming in the ISL. I think it's exciting. It's something I want to take part in because it's a huge step forward for the sport of swimming. It's something like this has never been done before. It's going to allow for more opportunities for there to be more high-level racing throughout the year, throughout the season, more opportunities for swimmers to make more money. It's got a lot of really good things going for it. And in addition to that, there's FINA, this World Swimming Governing Body, has also launched their own new series to kind of combat that. And that will take place at a different time of the year, so they actually won't conflict with each other. But it's good. I think that the ISL is a good thing. I think there's a lot of room for improvement, but there's certainly going to be way more opportunity for swimmers to be competing, more international meets, you know, for us to travel, but also for us to make money. Like, the cool thing is a lot of these teams there will be a host city that hosts each team, like where they live, just like a professional sports team here in America. And the team will have sponsors, and they'll have meets in their hometown, and then they'll go to other meets. And so I'm excited. I think it's going to be really cool. And I look forward to that. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled, keep watching the news, because I think that it's going to grow into something that could be really, really special and really, really cool. So thank you, Lisa, for that question. And now, with that out of the way, our second topic of the day comes from not one, not two, but like a lot of viewers, probably hundreds of people. I would actually probably say over 1,000 people asked me this question. And that is, what's the deal? Are you still signed with TYR? Am I still a TYR sponsored athlete? The answer to that is yes. My contract with TYR, my initial contract ended in December, and after that, I was for a short period of time, I was not a sponsored athlete. I was not obligated to wear their stuff or whatever. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've been wearing TYR for pretty much 5 years because I've been sponsored by them, and I've had, you know, continuing contracts with them, and they've been great and they've been wonderful, and I've loved it, and I'm very appreciative to them for everything that they've done for me. When my contract expired, I'll be honest with you guys, I tried out some other suits, I tried out some other goggles, I checked out some other stuff, and quite honestly, I came to the decision that I believe this truly, that the best tech suit on the market, so for me to compete at a high level, to race at my very best, I believe that the best tech suit is the TYR Venzo. And they have my favorite goggles. Those TYR Tracer X goggles are my favorite goggles. And they make my favorite training equipment. Those paddles you guys see me use in my vlogs, those clear paddles, those paddles are awesome. And they've got a new pair of fins, something blade. It's terrible that I don't know off the top of my head. But if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen me post something about that. Regardless, I think that they're the best, most well-rounded swimming company. And I've just recently re-signed a deal with them. So I'm re-signed with them for a few more years to come. I'm very happy and fortunate and excited about it. They're a big global company, yet I feel like when I go to them for, you know, visits, for photo shoots, when I go to their HQ, all the people there really feel like a family. And it feels like a tight-knit group of people. I mean, I've been working with them for a long time, but they're really, really good people, and that's something that I really, really appreciate. And so yes, I am a TYR sponsored athlete through and through. I mean, I always have been, and I am again, and I'm excited about that. So thank you, TYR, for sponsoring me. Yeah, I mean, I'll always be honest with you guys. Like, those were the biggest determining factors, like why I re-signed with them. Number one, they have the best tech suit. They make the best stuff. That is a fact. I believe that. Number two, I like aligning myself with good-hearted, well-intended people. And I believe that the people at that company are very much that. I believe that they're very, very family-oriented. And number three, I've had such a long relationship with them. And they've been good to me. And so, I mean, those are the main reasons. But yeah, I've re-signed with TYR. Super excited about that. Yeah, so for everybody asking, now you know. It's out there. That's it. Okay, thank you for everyone who is asking me that question. Now on to our third topic of the day. And our third topic of the day comes from Amanda A. Parker, who asks, how did you feel about getting back on the saddle? How did you feel about your first 3 races back? So thank you for asking that question, Amanda. Great question. A lot of people have been asking me that. Last weekend I swam in Iowa, Des Moines, Iowa. I got a lot of flack in the vlog for how I said Des Moines. Is it Des Moines? Des Moines? Des Moines? I don't know. People were like kind of ragging on me for that. Anyway, I raced in Des Moines, Iowa, and as I said in the vlog, best YMCA pool I've ever been to. That pool kicked ass. I thought the setup of the meet was great. I love that the entire downtown, the city of Des Moines, had a skywalk. So it was cold outside. Like, it was like probably below freezing outside, but we never had to walk outside to go anywhere. We just, our hotel, the hotel that all the national teamers were staying at, and a good majority of the swimmers were staying at, was within walking distance to the pool, like a few blocks. But you didn't have to go outside. There's just a skywalk, and so it was a great setup. It was super, super easy, low key, never had to stress about traveling, never had to stress about when you were gonna leave. And as far as my races went, it's funny because I have a lot of thoughts about it. I swam the 100 breaststroke on day one. I went 00.2, which is not far off of my best in-season time, unshaved, untapered. In my 50 breaststroke was probably my weakest event with 28.0. And I just don't feel like I'm at that point in training where I have that poppy, powerful springiness yet. Like I was kind of spinning. Like a 50 breaststroke is far different from a 100 breaststroke, stroke, technique, tempo-wise, and far different from a 200 breaststroke. And on the third day I did the 200 breaststroke, and in the 200 breaststroke, I got 5th place overall, and I went 2:11.7 or something like that, which again is like within half a second of my lifetime best in-season swim. So from a time standpoint and everything, like it was pretty solid. I mean, I hadn't raced a long course meet, like a high level pro series meet in 8 months. And I did well. I got 3rd in the 100 breaststroke. I was competitive again. Like I was right there. I was very competitive again. And that was the biggest thing for me to be up there and be like, okay, like I can be competitive and be relevant, and it was fun just to kind of be myself again. Right? Like standing behind the blocks, ready to race, like those feelings, that adrenaline, all those things, like I've lived for that for a long time. And I went so long without being able to do that. With that being said, I still walked away from the meet and I was like, I was a little bummed because, and this happens almost every time you leave a meet, but like there were things I could have done better. And obviously I knew going into the meet it wasn't gonna be perfect. It was my first meet back. Obviously I wasn't shaved, I wasn't, fully rested or anything like that. So I knew I kind of had an idea of what I was, what it was going to be like, but there were little things in each race that I kind of pick apart. I'm like, okay, now I know I've kind of my body has, I've kind of, shaken off the rust a little bit, and my body is acclimated to swimming that fast again. And now I can kind of build from that. So it was definitely, I feel good about it. But it also left me like wanting more. Like I finished the meet and I didn't outright win any events. And that to me, I was like I don't like not winning. So it made me like hungry for more. But I mean, that's natural. Like I feel like all high level athletes feel that way, right? Like that's natural. That's kind of how you should feel. So those are my thoughts on that, on my meet. I think I talked a little bit about that in the vlog, but I'm excited for my 200 breaststroke because my 200 breaststroke was the one thing I was a little bit questionable on because of my injury and the way that I've been training. I haven't been training the same volume that I've done particularly in the past. So I wasn't sure how that was going to affect a longer race. And it clearly didn't. Like clearly what I'm doing, I'm able to finish races. I'm able to swim a 200 well. So that was a good thing. So those are my very scattered, frantic thoughts about how my races went. I appreciate everyone who came out to the meet to watch me. I signed so many autographs. I met so many people. It was awesome. It was wonderful. Thank you for coming and saying hi. For people who said that they watched my races online, that was awesome. And to all the people who I couldn't meet, because I got a lot of people who were like, I went to the meet, I wasn't able to see you, or I went to the meet and you weren't there, or I never got an autograph or whatever. It's like, I mean, I can't please everyone. I wish I could. I wish I could meet everyone and sign everyone's autograph or whatever. I do my best, but we kind of have to put up boundaries, and sometimes Blake and I got to get out of there or whatever. But thank you everyone for your support. And everybody in Des Moines, I think that was awesome. They need to have Pro Series at meets like that again. Because it just felt like an event atmosphere. Like it was packed, it was exciting. Yeah, okay, enough on that topic. So that's it. Thank you, Amanda, for that question. And now on to our 4th topic of the day. And the 4th topic of the day comes to us from Matt_NTS0214. Wow, that was a mouthful. Okay, Matt asks about pools. What makes them fast? Great question. This is something that swimmers talk about all the time. What makes pools fast? Is there such thing as a pool that is faster than another pool? Does that make any sense? Why? Yes, there are fast pools and there are slow pools, and those are facts. And there are a lot of different factors that go into what makes pools fast and what makes pools slow. It's somewhat up for debate, things here and there, in terms of like water level, gutter lines, the distances from the tees. There's a lot of little variables, but ultimately all high level swimmers will tell you that there are differences, and there are certainly pools that are fast and there are pools that are slow. For me, I think that there are two big factors that go into how fast a pool is. Number one, I think that overflow is big. So what happens to the water when 8 giant dudes, giant Olympic level dudes, dive in the pool and start sprinting? There's turbulence, there's water, there's wake, it's going everywhere. What happens to that water when it comes out? Is there enough overflow for the gutters to absorb that water, or is it gonna come back crashing in? Is it gonna create more of a wake pool? So how the pool is designed, how it handles turbulence in the water is a big factor, a really big factor. Another thing is how wide the lanes are. So some pools have lanes that are slightly wider than others. I believe there's regulations on how wide lanes need to be. There are some pools like in the NCAA where they'll run 2 lane lines in between lanes, and 2 lane lines helps once again absorb some of that turbulence that's caused by super fast kicking, absorb some of that water and kind of keep it steadier. Another factor that goes into what makes pools fast is whether or not there's a current. Believe it or not, the heating system of the pool, where the water jets are placed on the walls or on the bottom of the pool, what trajectory that water is being pushed out and how fast sometimes creates a current. I'll tell you right now, at the pool I train at, the Indiana University pool that you guys see me swimming at in all of my vlogs, that pool has a current. Everyone on my team agrees there's a current. When we go long course, there's a current on one side of the pool and the other side of the pool. And depending on the time of year, depending on how those vents, those underwater vents, I don't know if they're called vents, are turned on, will depend on the flow of the water, how the water in the pool is circulating. That's a factor. Sometimes, to give you an example, sometimes we're doing a Saturday morning pace set and I'll be in an outside lane, like on the far right of the pool, and I'll be going 32.9s going down, and coming back, I'm going like 32.0. And I'm going the same effort, the same speed, the same rate, everything, but I'm way faster one way. That's a real thing. There are major currents in pools. There has been major controversies and all kinds of, I guess you could call them scandals about there being currents in big pools for major events like world championship level events. That's happened. And then there's other factors. The design of the wall, right? So the touchpad of the wall, how much space there is between the padding and the wall. If there's spring, I guess part of that comes down to like what kind of touchpads in the pool. But the big thing for me is the markers on the bottom of the pool. So the markers on the bottom of a pool are a signal to your brain letting you know where you're at in the pool. And sometimes it's a trick you play on your mind. But as I showed you guys in my most recent vlog, you saw how far away the bottom tee at the end of the lane was to the flat wall. And having that be a constant and letting you know where the markers are on the bottom of the pool, and what you see as you're swimming at a certain pace, it plays a factor on your brain. Now that's probably psychological, but it's real and it affects everybody. Swimming at a certain speed, you're sprinting down the pool and you're used to seeing lines go by a certain way, and you're used to seeing markers on the bottom of the pool, knowing where you're at. Those play a subconscious factor in when you're racing, 100%. I think all swimmers would agree on that. Blake mentioned to me at the pool in Iowa that he really liked the markers on the bottom of the pool. I also really liked it. I tend to like pools that are the same depth level all the way across. I think that's a big thing. There's so many factors, whether or not they have the way that the gutters are built in, the depth or the height of the block from the water in comparison to the height of the block to the pool. There's all kinds of weird little factors that different people have different reasons for thinking that it affects them. But make no mistake, 100%, there are fast pools and there are slow pools. And there are reasons for those. And I could debate that for hours and hours. We could talk about that for hours. But for now, I hope that's enough of me rambling about pools. Okay, thank you for that question, Matt. And now comes to our final topic of the day. This is our 5th topic of the day, and our 5th topic of the day comes from Xander Marsh, who asks, What is the best benefit of racing with a tech suit? How often should you do it? Should you train with a tech suit? Those types of things. Thank you, Xander, for your question. And the benefit of a tech suit, like wearing the Tier Venzo or whatever your tech suit of choice would be, is there's quite a few. Let me tell you the biggest benefit for me. The biggest benefit for me is that when I'm racing in a tech suit, it allows me to swim at a higher level in the water. So I'm much more, I mean, they're a little buoyant, right? So there's a little bit of a buoyancy factor. There's a little bit of a factor where it's tightening your muscles and constricting your muscles in the right way, but it's allowing you to swim at a higher level in the water. And I don't know how best to describe that outside of saying when I dive in and do a pullout and come up and do a breakout stroke with a suit on, with a tech suit on, I automatically feel higher in the water. And a lot of that comes down to the way the seams are designed, the way that, you know, the type of fabric that it's used, the frictionless material of the fabric. Like I know the new Venzo has this brand new frictionless material. And the cool thing is, like, when I wore it in Iowa, I wore it 4, 5, 6 times and it felt new every time. Like, it didn't wear out. And the fabric, I felt that frictionness, like that shine when you jump in, your suit's kind of shiny. That never really went away, which number one is great in a tech suit, so great job. But number two, it allows you to be more buoyant, higher up in the water. And it really, the tech suits now, there's so much technology and thought that goes into designing them that the way that the seams are cut in the back actually affects the way that your legs move. So a lot of people like to say the suit is kicking for them. That's a very common phrase I hear people saying. And what that means is the way that the seams are designed around the butt, down the groin, around the hamstring, it's that when your legs split and when you're kicking, that suit, that fabric is actually trying to get back to its normal state. So it's effectively snapping back. So it's aiding your legs in the process of kicking. So you are starting the momentum and you're creating the motion with your own body, and the suit, if it's a good suit, is actually aiding you in bringing it back to where your legs want to go. So it's like, it's helping you dolphin kick. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's true. I love it when I hear people say like the suit kicks for you. It's pretty true. Like for me, when I wore the Venza this weekend, I would snap my breaststroke kick, and when I snap my kick, my legs come together and kind of whip up, and I felt like when I got to here, like 80% of my kick, the suit almost snapped my legs together for me. So it's like I was kicking with less effort and really holding my legs in place. Like I didn't have to squeeze my legs together as I was shooting forward. Like that was happening for me. So it's almost like the suit does a little bit of the work for you. I can't speak for women's suits, but women's suits would be even more, because the thing with women's suits there's so much more designed into the chest, into the core engagement, into where things are tight, you know, where things are loose, allowing you to really float. There's so much that goes into those. You know, I was with Tier when they were developing the new Venzo, and the amount of R&D and time and science that goes into putting together those tech suits is, I mean, it's really cool. Like it's astounding. It's amazing. And they went through many different iterations. So as far as racing in a tech suit, that's basically the benefit. I mean, you're faster for a reason. As in, you know, some of the things I just described. As far as wearing one in practice, I try to throw on a tech suit once a week. So whether it's a Saturday or a Wednesday afternoon lactate set, a set where we're sprinting, I try to throw on an old tech suit just so that, you know, I get that feel, like I know what it's like to race at that speed. I know what it's like to swim at that body level. Because when I'm in a suit, I'm automatically higher in the water, and it's different from when you're training. And sometimes it throws you off a little bit. You know, I'll give you an example. My training partner, Ian Finnerty, the first guy to ever break 50 seconds in the 100 breaststroke, the American record holder, US Open record holder, one of the fastest guys in the country right now. The week before his biggest meets, Big Tens, NCAAs, US Open, whatever the meet is, on his breaststroke practice days, Mondays and Thursdays, he'll put on a tech suit and wear it for the whole practice. Now, I think that's a little bit weird. A lot of people think that's a little bit weird. I think it's a little much. Like, I don't think you need to wear it that much. I think you just need to swim fast in it a little bit. But that's what he does, and he likes doing that, and it clearly works for him. So, you know, some people wear it more than others. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Xander, for our 5th topic. And now for the remainder of the show, I'm going to just take kind of random questions. And they don't all have to be swimming related. Mostly swimming related. Most of our topics will be swimming related. But when I ask for questions in the future, just throw things out that would be a good topic of discussion for me to just kind of talk about. It doesn't necessarily have to be something specific to me. But I do love this questions. Like our first question of the day, non-topic related, comes from SwimRay24. And SwimRay24 asks, if you could have any superpower, what would it be? You have no idea how much I've thought about this question. If I could have any superpower, what would it be? It would be teleportation. I've thought a lot about this, way too much, probably too much for me to really describe. I would love to be able to fly. I've thought about that a lot too, being able to just, lift off the ground and fly like Superman. But the ability of teleportation would be the ultimate superpower. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Jumper with Hayden Christensen, the guy from, he was Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars movies. So not a great movie, but the premise of the movie, the fact that all he had to do was visualize a place on Earth in his mind and he could teleport there instantly. That is a superpower I want. That would be, you would be limitless. You could do, poof, I'm free falling now. I'm 100 feet in the air, poof, now I'm in my bed, poof, now I'm in a pool. You could do, it's just the coolest superpower, I don't even get me started on those kinds of questions, because I won't stop. It's crazy. Thank you for the question, SwimRay. And our next question comes to us from KTR, oh good God, I'm gonna butcher this, I'm so sorry. KTR Tier 518. That was bad. Do you get nervous before races? How do you deal with pre-race nerves? 100%. I still get nervous before races. You should get nervous. Being nervous means that you care. Being nervous means that your body is getting jittery and getting ready to explode. Everyone feels that way. You need to be nervous before races. Yes. Our third question comes to us from Lily_Chobika, who asks, Chabaki, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not good at this. Asks, which unhealthy food do you miss the most? Well, okay, I have a really healthy diet. I eat as healthy as I can pretty much all week long, with the exception of a little bit on Saturday. But I wouldn't say that there's anything that I've just completely given up. I know that the year leading into the Olympics, I didn't have ice cream once. I didn't have junk food once. But I never regretted it or craved it or really thought about it. I think I was just too dialed in. For me right now, so I do a lot of blood testing in terms of vitamin levels, in terms of food sensitivity, in terms of having healthy gut function. And I had a blood test done recently that told me that I was somewhat sensitive to peanuts. And that was a bummer, because I love peanut butter. So that's my answer for right now, is I'm trying to eat less peanuts, and I'm not eating peanut butter right now because I know that my food sensitivity levels to peanut butter has gotten up to the point where it's not good. It's causing a little bit of inflammation. So I will go with peanut butter for now. But I wouldn't say there's anything that stands out crazy. Thank you for the question. Next question comes to us from Piper Louder _, who asks, have you ever thrown up during a set? Yes. Twice. I've thrown up twice. Yeah. It's pretty brutal, but it happens. Next question comes to us from Mikey3423, who asks, do you like chicken nuggets? Man, I love chicken nuggets. I love them. I obviously don't eat them very often because they're processed, and I try to avoid those things. But on the weekends, here and there, yeah, I'll have some chicken nuggets. Love Chick-fil-A. Don't eat it very often, but I love Chick-fil-A. Lily would kill me if I didn't say McDonald's chicken nuggets are really good. Lily and I had a lot of McDonald's chicken nuggets in the village after we were done swimming. Her even before we were done swimming in the Olympics. Oh yeah. And that's it for the questions today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Cody Miller Show. Once again, how do you get your question or a topic answered on one of these shows? It's easy. Make sure you guys are following me on social media at SwimMiller on Twitter and at Cody Miller on Instagram. When I ask for questions, send them off in there. That's your best route. Vlogs every Wednesdays. What else? I'm gonna get Margot on the podcast. We're gonna do another podcast soon. It's coming. I'm also starting a movie-related podcast with a couple of my buddies, which I'll let you guys know about if you're interested in that. I think it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be pretty cool. I am gonna eventually try to live stream this show directly to YouTube and try to take live questions eventually, but not yet. That's kind of what's going on. Did I cover everything? I think I covered everything. Yeah, okay. Until my next video, I will see you guys later.